Hello, I'm Storm. Welcome to my room. Today, I'm going to be showing you some of my favorite records from my record collection. Because I'm one of those trendy, quirky internet girls that likes to buy old things like vinyl and collects old cameras that don't work, books I don't read. Anyways, here's some of my favorite records. First, we shall discuss Calysta, one of my all-time favorite bands. This record's great. Yeah, like every song on it is great. Really descriptive, I know. It's funny, this band, when they came out in the 70s, everyone thought it was the Beatles. And so everyone was buying their records like crazy. They just thought it was the Beatles in disguise. And then eventually it came out that it actually wasn't the Beatles, and then people stopped buying their records, but their music's really good. You should listen to Calysta. Got all kinds of cute little things on the back. You see, got a little mouse, you got some little mushrooms, a little flower, a planet. Not the Beatles, but close. Next, we have Kate Bush, The Kick Inside. Wuthering Heights is on this, which is a classic. That's like one of my all-time favorite songs now. I just really love Kate Bush's voice and how theatrical she is. And the dancing and the miming as a whole combo. She's a really interesting artist, really creative. But yeah, Kate Bush is amazing. She has this really high, I can't even describe her voice. It's so whimsical and just weird. But her songwriting's just insanely good. This one was her first album, but I think it was when her second album came out. She did a few shows and she did everything down to costume, choreography, set design, everything. She did everything herself, and it was a whole play that she put on for each show, so it makes sense why she only did a handful of them. Gotta listen to Kate Bush. Hunky Dory, David Bowie. This is my all-time favorite record. Life on Mars is my all-time favorite song. Life on Mars makes me cry every time I hear it. And for a while I was doing David Bowie tribute shows, and that was the song I got to sing when doing those shows. And it was always really emotional. I just really love all the theatrics in it, and I think it's really interesting because you can actually hear how much David Bowie loved musical theater just through this album. And it's a little bit folkier than his later stuff. Fun fact about David Bowie, he originally wanted to be a playwright for Broadway musicals and didn't really know how to make that happen, so he just started channeling all of his characters and whatnot into his music, which is Ziggy Stardust and then White Duke, and it's a great album. I love it. I love you, David Bowie. And here we have one of my most treasured records. Love this record so much. Buckingham Nicks. This was Stevie Nicks and Lindsey Buckingham's project prior to joining Fleetwood Mac. The first song on this record is my favorite. It's called Crying in the Night. She's gonna need you crying in the night. She's looking around. Can't get it back in there. Also, a really interesting thing about this cover was Stevie had actually gone out and bought a really expensive shirt to wear in the shop. And then she gets to the shoot and the photographer asked her to take her top off. And she was extremely upset about it because she was not that kind of girl, you know what I mean? No floozies around here. But she did it for the album art. and they had to Photoshop her nipple out. This here is my favorite Rolling Stones record, because the album art is friggin' amazing. I want a wizard hat. Look at that. You see that wizard hat? That's a great wizard hat. This album's like really psychedelic and weird and beautiful, and she's a rainbow, and I really relate to She's a Rainbow because I like to wear a lot of rainbows. It makes me feel like a rainbow. Here's a weird one. Uriah Heep, Demons and Wizards. The singer in this band oddly sounds pretty similar to David Bowie in some songs. Like the first time I heard it, I was like, is that David Bowie? I was like, I've never heard this song. What the fuck is this? It wasn't David Bowie, it was Uriah Heep. The Wizard is my favorite song off this album. And like really cool album art. I'm a real sucker for album art, by the way. Like even if I don't know what the record is, if it has really cool album art, I might buy it. Just to see what it is. Could be good. Usually it comes through. Judge a book by its cover. Or a record by its album art. Ah yes, Gary Newman. Yes, I could be wrong, but this is what I read. That he was the first artist to ever make a rock album without guitars. Instead he was using guitar distortion pedals on his synths to create that like gritty rock sound. And it was this album, The Pleasure Principle. And you probably know the song Cars. I really love Gary Newman. I went to his show like last year. I went to the one in Austin, and then the next day I went to a show in San Antonio. He sounds incredible live, like incredible. Especially for like his age, like it literally sounded like a record. Tommy James and the Shondells, Crimson and Clover. Crimson and Clover always makes you feel like super lovey-dovey and like warm. Even if like I don't have anyone to be lovey-dovey and warm with, I'm still just like, oh, it's so cute. And all of their songs are so damn catchy. I am a tangerine. Electric Warrior by T-Rex. Obviously an amazing album. Cosmic Dancer is one of my favorite songs, and there's just so many good songs on here, like Mambo Son, Bang a Gong, Get It On, you know? Planet Queen. Mark Bolan. Beautiful. Beautiful creature. Loved his hair. Great style. I love this album. I listen to it all the way through all the time. It's like listening to a movie soundtrack basically, but like a really beautiful movie soundtrack, and you can like play out the whole story in your head as you're listening to it, and there's obviously like a lot of orchestral stuff in here. It's really beautiful, it's really peaceful. I like to take naps while listening to this album. It makes me fall asleep like that, but not like in a bad way. It's just like so pretty and like so calming that you're just like, oh, I love the moody blues, man. Days of Futures Past. And obviously, Nights in White Satin is my favorite song. It's one of my all-time favorite songs. Yesterday, I bought this Donovan record. First off, I love Donovan's music. He's fantastic. He inspires a lot of my music, actually. But I love space things. And this is very spacey. Look at it. Look. Ooh, look at that album art. That's beautiful. That is glorious. Oh, but it gets better. You see this little pocket? Okay, there's like a round poster of like a naked Donovan with stars and moons on him. I just like that it's round. He could have put on a shirt, that would have been great. And his belly button kind of looks like a black abyss. It's really hairy, but he's a great musician. I like that it's a round poster. I'm probably gonna hang that up. It's kind of funny, kind of cool. I dig it. Haven't listened to it yet though, so I can't tell you if it's my favorite, but its album art is The Intergalactic Laxative is a song. Sounds shitty. The Intergalactic Laxatives. Beautiful. I've never heard a better title in my life. Best of Dolly Parton. I love Dolly Parton. I wish I was Dolly Parton. I'm not Dolly Parton. Where am I? Scott and Jolene. Traveling Man. That's a really funny song. Traveling Man's a really freaking funny song. I love that song. Coat of Many Colors. That song makes me tear up a little because it reminds me of my mom. because when I was young, we didn't have much money. And I remember one time she made me this like really cool poncho, and I thought it was the coolest fucking thing in the world. Everyone else at school thought it was like really weird because it was like bright orange and like crazy, but that's me. I'm weird. And last but not least, no, not least, my favorite Beatles albums. These are my favorites. Sgt. Pepper's. I love Lucy in the Sky with Diamonds. That's just a fun song. It's so like whimsical, and the imagery is really cool when you like just listen to the lyrics and like imagine it. You're like, oh wow, that's beautiful. That's really cool. I wish I lived in that world. I do. And then we got the Magical Mystery Tour. It's such a good album. So they're wearing Afghan coats on this album art, and they actually turned the Afghan coats inside out. And what happened is after this album came out, a bunch of their fans started buying these Afghan coats, but they were buying cheap ones. So they smelled really bad because they just weren't made well. They're made of animal, and so apparently people kind of smelled like rotting animal trying to wear Afghan coats like the Beatles. Rubber Soul. I just feel like sometimes people don't really appreciate Rubber Soul to its fullest. In My Life is such a beautiful song. Especially as you get older, you're just like, wow, these lyrics, man. And people say that's one of the best written pop songs ever made, so. But yeah, these are all my favorite records. They're pretty heavy. I hope you check some of these out. Go to the record store. Go support record shops. They deserve the love. I think it's just really cool to have a physical copy of music, especially in the digital age where everything is streaming now. And back in the day, they put so much into like the album art and the packaging, like that Donovan record where there's like the circular poster and you open it up and it's like this amazing beautiful artwork. It was a whole package deal that you got, and I hope you enjoyed this little video. Let me know what other kind of videos you would like to see trying this thing out. Have a great day. Fare thee well.